Hello there, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andrew. I'm an ACN writer from Brisbane, Australia, and this is the writing reading channel where no expense is spent. So I've got about 20 questions in under 5 minutes, and I saw this on the Nostalgic Dragon channel, so check out that channel. I'll put a link below. Here we go. Ebook or physical? I prefer physical. I struggle to read on a screen, that's hence the seeing eyes, and I just like the tactile sensation. Paper or hardback? Prefer paperback for reading, but I like to get the hardbacks for something special. Like collector's items or first edition, something special. Online or in store? It's a tricky one. Probably online because it's just easier for the convenience. Unfortunately, there's not that many bookstores around where I am, and the ones that do have a very limited shelf space, so I can't always get what I want. Trilogy or series? I think I prefer series over the trilogies. It just depends on the stories. Heroes or villains? That's a tough one. I think villains, because they are more proactive. They're the ones going out to achieve their dream of world domination, whereas the heroes are sort of reactive. So I've got to give it to the villains on this one. A book you want everyone to read. Dead House Gates by Stephen Erickson, the second book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen. That's just peak fantasy. Without a doubt. If you disagree with me, then just whatever. Okay, the last book I finished was the Immediate Fiction by Jerry Cleaver. If you're a writer, this is the book to get. You only need one book to help you with your writing, and that's it. Okay, last book I bought. Does that include comics? If not, then The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Underrated book. I'd say the cheating here, but the World War series by Harry Turtledove. It came out in the 90s. I think that probably been forgotten to time, but that is a brilliant book. The first one and series is a great concept. Weirdest bookmark. At the moment, it's like an ATM receipt. But as a kid, I had I had a bookmark that had like a foam bum at the top, so there's his butt hanging out. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. So I don't know whatever happened to that. It probably got thrown out a long time ago. Used books? Yes. Every now and then the Lifeline charity have a big book fair, like probably hundreds of thousands of books they sell like cheap, and it's a good way to go and try out different things. If I like them, then I'll go buy new copies to support the author. But yeah, I don't mind used ones just to read, go through, maybe just use it to mark stuff up if I find a passage interesting or whatnot, without ruining my good books. Okay, 3 favorite genres. That'd be fantasy, sci-fi, and probably like the espionage thriller, like your Jason Bournes and whatnot. Characters or plot? Well, characters should drive the plot, really. If you're just going off the plot, then you can just put any character in and out and the same thing would happen, so that's no good. Forget about it. Okay, first 3 books that I think about right now. Probably This Inevitable Ruin by Matt Dinniman. I've got that on my list of audiobooks to listen to. 36 Streets by T.R. Napa. That is a really good cyberpunk book. I recommend that one. I've been thinking about that lately. Go back and read that. The other book is the one I'm working on at the moment, so my brain's always churning, so there's that. Alright, laugh or cry books. Laugh books, because they're actually harder I think that they're harder to do than to get someone to cry. I think, you know, to manipulate those heartstrings is a lot easier than to tickle that funny bone in the written form. Very few people are able to pull it off, and I think that's a greater skill. So I'll give that one to the Laughing Books. Live in my own world or a fictional world? That's a tough one. Like, live in a fictional world that, you know, live in the Shire, like a little hobbits. Yeah, but no, I'd probably get thrust into like a 40k world and die of tinea or something straight away. So yeah, I think I'll stick to the real world. Audiobook, yes or no? Yes, I quite enjoy audiobooks because I travel to and from work a fair distance. So it takes like an hour or so, depending on traffic. So it helps me get my audiobook reps in. Now, it's not a replacement for reading, I don't think. It's just another way of consume tales. You know, originally, you know, tales were passed down verbally, they weren't written down, so it's a time-honoured tradition, if you believe that, which we probably don't. Do I judge a book by its cover? Yes, and I'll judge them harshly, unfortunately. Back in the day, you know, all the fantasy books, you know, with someone looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover, like with a big sword, you know, you're picking that book up. Like I said before, the World War series, there's like a lizard with a machine gun, and there's you know, a Spitfire plane, I think it was, you know, burning in the background. So that sort of grabbed my attention. So yeah, I do judge books by their cover, especially like today. Like the books today are very same. The covers, they all look the same, just text and like a little fancy border, and there might be a little skull or a rose heart, and yeah, it's all yeah. Okay, adaptation is better than the book. Generally, no. There are, in my opinion, but there's a few exceptions to the rules. Maybe like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that that was done. You know, it's like the perfect trilogy. Yeah, it's not a replacement for the books. It is an adaptation. I think the best adaptation I've ever seen is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It was basically a one-to-one adaptation of the book, and you know, it can bring books to life. Series or standalones? I don't mind standalone books. Series are great to you know, see the characters' growth. You know, like the Kaladin in the whole Stormlight Archive. You see his growth, or yeah, I'm losing train of thought. But I don't mind standalone stories. Sometimes I just like one and done, cool story. Yeah, you don't have to follow the character around forever. It doesn't take them forever to do anything. Book to movie or movie to book? I have to go book to movie. Yeah, sometimes there's just a lot of action in a book that you just love to see on the big screen. Once again, the Lord of the Rings, like all the battles and stuff, to actually like to see it in a visual medium is something else. So movie to book adaptations are just what's the point? Like they're just. I've read a couple of those back in the day as a kid. Like, you know, I think I still got the Star Wars adaptation. May as well just watch the movie. There's no real point. But a book to movie, a good director and a good screenplay can like either enhance it or just put a little different spin on it. So yeah, so hopefully that was less than 5 minutes. If not, well, I don't know, ask for your money back. But that's it for this week. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some more riding news in the near future. All right, see you later.